Hey everyone, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. If you're not celebrating either, then have a great December 25th. As you know, this is my 5-minute car reviews where I come out of a movie theater and while I'm processing, I decide to process on camera so that we can process together. For the latest movie I just saw a complete unknown for my Christmas viewing with Timothée Chalamet. And just throw it out there is kind of mixed feelings on it. Kind of mixed feelings on it. I really wanted to fall in love with it because I've heard so many good things and it's got such a great cast. But I'm still kind of in a mixed place about it. Like, this is why I processed coming out of the movie. This doesn't take anything away from any of the acting. The roles, the performers in those roles, with what they're given, incredible. I love Timothée Chalamet. He really just disappeared into the character of Bob Dylan, and he had to be Bob Dylan. And this is coming from someone who is not by any way, mean, shape, or form a Bob Dylan fan. And I know that's probably going to bring a lot of hate and a lot of heat on me, but I've never been a Bob Dylan fan. I guess I grew up in a house, as this movie would say, full of commercial folk. I grew up with parents who loved Peter, Paul, and Mary, John Denver. On the 8-tracks, family road trips, Peter, Paul, and Mary was part of their wedding song, so I guess, I don't know, I just never got Bob Dylan. But I'm a huge lover of Tom Petty's, and I guess what this movie does remind me of is that Bob Dylan had to walk so that Tom Petty could run. And obviously, Traveling Wilburys and everything else, the influence is definitely there. And in my mind, I kept asking myself that, like, why do you love Tom Petty so much if you don't love Bob Dylan? But I don't know. The performers were great. Timothée Chalamet, like I said, amazing. Edward Norton, everything this man does is gold, and that goes into all the things he's done. And I'm a huge Edward Norton fan from way back in the day. Elle Fanning, she will break your heart. What she does with the role that she's got and how she becomes kind of the glue of what I felt was missing in the story when she pops up from time to time. Dang. Great job, Elle Fanning, if you're out there and if you ever catch this. You broke me. The scene at the ferry from Newport, I can't even process just what went through all of your acting and just the high to the low of it all. From the moment on the stage to the ferry, where you just watched the hope in you crumble into acceptance of what it is. And you were phenomenal. I'm always a fan of Norbert Leo Butz, and he shows up in the film. I'm a huge fan on Saturday Night Live of James Austin Johnson. He has a cameo, and he's one of my favorite cast members on SNL. Anything with Dan Fogler, top notch. Again, top to bottom of this cast. I'm going to say it wrong probably. Monica Barbero, who played Joan Baez, what she had to do with what she got, and just the kind of steady calm that she played and how she put herself into that. Wow, again, this is nothing about the acting. The acting was top notch, but what is really, I think, bothering me as I process this is I know there's really only two ways that you can do a music biopic, and really the format is there. You can either do flashbacks with those from a traumatic moment to how we built up to that moment, or you can do a linear storyline. And this movie chose to go with a linear storyline, which I love in movies like La Bamba, Bound for Glory, which obviously ties into this if you've ever seen this great 1976 movie, nominated for Best Picture. David Carradine playing Woody Guthrie was in this movie, and man, that got me too. I would have loved to have seen, like, not against the actor who played Woody Guthrie, but if Keith Carradine had played his dad's role, would have been a great tie-in. First movie to use a Steadicam, by the way, which is used a great deal in this film, especially in those gorgeous shots of the village and how the village was transformed through the 60s. It's just the linear time. I know we're building up to one big event, which I guess in this case, linear time just didn't do it for me. It just seemed there was something missing, and it was all very surface level. Getting to that point of Newport, obviously the whole point of this is how Bob Dylan revolutionized folk music. But I feel like the movie being called The Complete Unknown, and there's a great line by Elle Fanning, sorry I'm going over 5 minutes on this, where she talks about how nobody knows him, and I don't feel like even after I've seen this movie, I know him. It feels like they dealt a lot in his relationships without really dealing under his relationships. You know what I'm saying? That we're getting the view of this unknown Bob Dylan, maybe that's the whole point, from the viewpoint of his relationships with people who didn't even really know him, and now we don't even really get to know them. We don't get to see any of the underlying kind of problems. Just everything goes well for him while these people around him are in his wake. And I just feel like, I don't know, there's just something missing. Maybe too many relationships. Either focus on the Pete Seeger relationship, or focus on the Joan Baez relationship, or even Johnny Cash is just kind of in there as a character who kind of guides him, but I don't get that underlying thing. It's just these relationships are really easy and then they're gone. And I guess that's it. I'm sorry, I'm at 6 minutes now. So I don't know. There's something missing. Something, and I don't know what it is, because it's not the performances. And there are moments that bring you right back in the story that are so powerful and dynamic. It's something with the story and the way the story is told. But go see it. Solid film. If you're especially someone who loves music and loves the changing attitude of music, especially in the 60s. And I kept thinking of all the movies that could tie into this as well, that, you know, you could follow through with this. You could watch something like Across the Universe and see DNA of Across the Universe in this. And you can, again, go watch Bound for Glory about Woody Guthrie. You can watch Walk the Line with Johnny Cash. There's so many great connections to this, and the over time of the 60s, the theme of that and how it played into civil rights. And I guess that too seems kind of, well, let's throw in time so we know what's happening. There's a Cuban Missile Crisis, there's this civil rights event, there's this civil rights, but not, I don't know, dealing again in that meat and potatoes of it. I don't know. I mean, it's a great film, but it's not the greatest film. And I saw better films this season so far. But the performances, I mean, they did what they did. And go see it. Tell me what you think. I'm in a place right now. Maybe if I have to process this for a while longer. Sorry, this is in 7.5 minutes. I'll see other things. And I'll think about other things about it. But, all right. Have a good Christmas, Hanukkah, and a December 20th.